This is the epic tale of Lockheed Martin, a company forged in the imagination of early aviation pioneers and cemented in the global aerospace and defense industry through necessity, sheer ingenuity, and a relentless pursuit of the impossible. It's a story of two separate legacies, Lockheed and Martin Marietta, that merged into one superpower, becoming the largest defense contractor in the United States and a driving force behind both warfighting technology and space exploration. The story begins in the early days of flight, with two distinct visions emerging on the American West Coast. On August 16, 1912, in Los Angeles, California, a self-taught barnstormer and exhibition pilot named Glenn L. Martin founded the Glenn L. Martin Company. Martin was an early inventor who, encouraged by no less than Orville Wright, took a visionary leap. His first aircraft was built in a rented church, a humble beginning for a man whose name would become synonymous with large, reliable military and commercial aircraft. Just 4 months later, on December 19, 1912, the brothers Alan and Malcolm Lockheed, who later changed the spelling to their family name, set up their own venture, the Alcoy Hydro Aeroplane Company, which would later become the Lockheed Aircraft Company. Working out of a modest garage, the talented mechanics designed and built seaplanes aiming to shatter existing speed and distance records for over-water flights. Their first aircraft was a large, successful seaplane for its time. From these incredibly humble origins, a church and a garage, the two center pillars of the modern Lockheed Martin Company began their separate yet parallel journeys into the future. As the aviation industry matured, the Lockheed Aircraft Company became a name associated with a sleek design and breakthrough performance. During World War II, Lockheed delivered two of its most famous aircraft. First was the twin-tailed, long-range heavy fighter, the P-38 Lightning. This was one of the first military designs guided by the legendary engineer Clarence Kelly Johnson. The P-38 was highly successful in all theaters of war, particularly in the Pacific, becoming the first aircraft to exceed 400 miles per hour and one of the first to encounter problems associated with approaching the speed of sound. Over 10,000 P-38s were eventually built. The second icon of the era was the L-049 Constellation, or Connie for short. Born from a collaboration with Howard Hughes' Trans World Airlines, better known as TWA, the Constellation, which first flew in 1943, was the first pressurized airliner to go into widespread commercial use. Its distinctive triple tail and dolphin-like fuselage made it a global icon of post-war intercontinental travel, where it was nicknamed the Super Connie. The Constellation was instrumental in launching the era of comfortable, high-altitude commercial flights. While Lockheed mastered the aircraft world, the Glenn L. Martin Company established itself with reliable large aircraft, like the B-26 Marauder bomber of World War II. After the war, under the visionary leadership of Glenn Martin and his successors, the company made a critical pivot that would shape its future. The company shifted its focus from aviation to the burgeoning field of rocketry and missiles. The transition transformed the Martin Company into a true aerospace powerhouse. They became pioneers in the United States' early space program and defense systems, developing some of the nation's most critical strategic missiles, including the Titan family of the Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles, ICBMs. Later, through a 1961 merger with American Marietta Corporation, the combined entity became Martin Marietta, solidifying its reputation not just as a builder of planes, but as a master of rockets, space launch vehicles, and complex electronic systems. No story of Lockheed is complete without the tale of Clarence Leonard Kelly Johnson and the clandestine division he created, Skunk Works, officially the Advanced Development Programs. Born from the urgent need to rapidly develop America's first jet fighter, the XP-80 Shooting Star, Skunk Works was an experiment in organizational efficiency. In 1943, Kelly Johnson promised the Army he could deliver the jet in 180 days. He delivered it in just 143. This success was not accidental. It was built on a revolutionary management philosophy codified in Kelly's 14 rules. These rules emphasize speed, simplicity, small teams using only 10 to 25% of the people typical for the normal programs, minimal red tape, and granting the program manager near absolute control. This Skunk Works methodology became the birthplace of some of the most technologically radical aircraft in history. The U-2 Dragon Lady, high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft, and the legendary Mach 3 SR-71 Blackbird. These programs cemented Skunk Works' legacy as the world's premier laboratory for advanced classified aircraft design. Throughout the latter half of the 20th century, both Lockheed and Martin Marietta continued to shape the Cold War landscape. Lockheed's Aeronautics division brought the world the iconic C-130 Hercules airlifter, which remains in production and active use today, and the F-104 Starfighter. Meanwhile, its missile division developed the Trident submarine-launched ballistic missile, SLBM. Martin Marietta was deeply embedded in the space race, providing technology for the Apollo program and building the massive Titan launch vehicles that carried Gemini missions in orbit. They were also the contractor for the Viking landers that first reached Mars. By the 1990s, both companies were massive, but the end of the Cold War and the subsequent peace dividend resulted in severe cuts to the defense budget, setting the stage for one of the most consequential corporate meetings in history. The consolidation of the defense industry in the mid-1990s was catalyzed by a single, now legendary meeting. On July 21st, 1993, then U.S. Secretary of Defense Les Aspin and Deputy Secretary of Defense William Perry invited the CEOs of the nation's largest defense contractors to a private dinner at the Pentagon. Norman Augustine, the CEO of Martin Marietta, famously named this event the Last Supper of the defense industry. The message from the Pentagon was stark. With defense spending slashed, there was not enough business for all of them, and the industry needed to consolidate to survive. Augustine took this message to heart, presiding over a series of mergers. The most significant of these mergers was the union of the Lockheed Corporation and Martin Marietta on March 15, 1995, creating the Lockheed Martin Corporation. This merger instantly formed the largest and most diverse defense company in the world. The newly formed Lockheed Martin quickly established its dominance in the fighter aircraft. Building on the heritage of Skunk Works stealth technology from the F-117 Nighthawk, the company led the development of two of the world's most advanced air superiority platforms. The F-22 Raptor, a fifth-generation air dominance fighter, was a key achievement for the company, integrating super cruise, stealth, and super maneuverability. This was soon followed by the massive F-35 Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter, a program that by itself accounts for a significant portion of the company's annual revenue. The F-35 is a complex, multinational program intended to be a single-engine, multi-role stealth fighter capable of various mission types, including versions capable of short takeoff and vertical landing. The F-35 is the cornerstone of air forces for the U.S. and its allies worldwide. Lockheed Martin is organized into four primary business areas, demonstrating the incredible breadth of its technological reach and why it is the number one U.S. defense contractor by revenue. Number one, aeronautics. It's home to the F-35, the F-22, F-16, and the C-130 Hercules, including the Skunk Works division. Number two is rotary and mission systems. It focuses on surface combatants, radar, and maritime systems, and includes Sikorsky helicopters like the Black Hawk and Seahawk. Missiles and fire control. It develops missile defense systems like Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, THAAD, and the Patriot Advanced Capability 3, the PAC-3, missile and precision strike weapons. And four, space. It deals with the satellite systems for national security and civil applications, including the Orion spacecraft for NASA's Artemis missions. With $71 billion in 2024 net sales, as reported in its financial statements, the majority of its business, about 73% of its revenue, comes from the U.S. federal government, including the Department of Defense. This vast, diversified, and indispensable portfolio is the foundation of its market leadership. Lockheed Martin operates over 350 facilities globally. While many of its advanced development programs are conducted in secure locations, public records and company statements point to several well-known locations where the company conducts various operations. Bethesda, Maryland is the corporate headquarters. Marietta, Georgia is a major hub for aeronautics, known for the assembly of the C-130 Hercules. Fort Worth, Texas is the primary production facility for the F-35 Lightning II. Portero Canyon and Laborde Canyon, Beaumont, California, is historical test sites used in the 1960s and 70s for solid rocket propellant and motor testing. While now largely under remediation or controlled land use, these sites illustrate the company's heritage in propulsion and ballistics testing. Martin State Airport in Middle River, Maryland is a site purchased by Glenn L. Martin himself in 1928. Now a general aviation facility that carries the company's heritage. There's Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and Morristown, New Jersey, major sites for space and missile radar systems, including the development of advanced sensors in missile defense. And there are also various testing sites in Nevada. Today, Lockheed Martin is heavily invested in what it calls 21st century security technology. Two of the most publicly discussed areas of innovation are unmanned systems and extreme speed. In the realm of drone technology, the company is a key player in the development of collaborative combat aircraft, CCA, which are auto-autonomous, uncrewed platforms designed to fly alongside crewed fighters like the F-35 and more. The company publicly announced the concept in this space is called Vectis, a high-end survivable Group 5 drone concept. Vectis was developed by Skunk Works. It promises to integrate 5th and 6th generation stealth technologies into an agile, customizable drone framework, capable of missions like precise strike, electronic warfare, and intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Simultaneously, the company is at the forefront of hypersonic technologies, weapon systems capable of flying at speeds greater than Mach 5. These programs, which fall under the space and missile divisions, represent a paradigm shift in strategic deterrence and attack, showcasing the company's continued commitment to advanced capability development as the core of its business. The story of Lockheed Martin, from two visionaries in a church and a garage in 1912 to the global technology integrator of today, is one of the constant evolutions guided by Kelly Johnson's principle of small, rapid innovation and solidified by Norman Augustine's corporate foresight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the Lockheed Martin Company. I myself wanted to know a little bit more about the Lockheed Martin Company, basically where they started from, who started it, where it came from, and why. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I know I did because I love the F-22 Raptor. It is my favorite plane to watch. I just love that thing. Just look at it. I mean, it's crazy. It's beautiful. Really cool plane. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I learned a lot more about Lockheed, and we'll see you next time.